Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Rebirth Island is officially back in Warzone after being out for the launch of Season 4, and throughout pretty much, as far as we can tell, the remainder of at least the first half of Season 4, we're going to see it in the rotation essentially every week, and then towards the end of the first half of the season, every other day it seems like. With the fact that we now have 3 different maps in play between obviously Caldera, Fortune's Keep, and Rebirth, we have several different sort of niche metas. The niche for Caldera, the niche for Fortune's Keep, and the niche for Rebirth, which all have some different competitive and meta options. And today we're breaking down the top 5 best loadouts to be running specifically on Rebirth. As we go through it all, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. Would be seriously appreciated. And if you're new here, or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD, so feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. So our first loadout here consists of the STG, then also the Armaguerra, both super consistent weapons. The STG saw a slight nerf, but for 0 to 50 meter fights, which is a ton of the ones that you see on Rebirth, it's going to be a super consistent rifle. After that, its TTK might not be the greatest in the world, but it's so low recoil, you're going to land shots so easily, it's going to have a decent realistic TTK. And the Armaguerra, I mean, the thing is just a beast. Low recoil, great TTK, great mobility as well, especially after the update. I'm loving these two as a combination. Real quick, as far as the perks and equipment goes, this is the same on all my setups. Cold-blooded, overkill, combat scout, throwing knife, snapshot, grenade. Obviously, we all know the combat scout and snapshot meta is annoying, but it's currently the best way to secure kills and fight at a disadvantage 1-on-2, 1-on-3, 2-on-4, whatever the case may be. So until they see nerfs, unfortunately, it's like you're either at a disadvantage or you're fighting fire with fire. But as far as these general setups go, the STG one, we don't really have to spend much time on. It's the same setup we've been running for quite some time, but I do want to change one specific thing for Rebirth. First up, though, we have MX Silencer. We got the 760 barrel running hand stop, the Garanko 50, lengthens and polymer on there for the best velocity and control over range. Nerves of steel for better control, fully loaded to maximize our ammo, the 2.5 times optic. And on Caldera, I'd usually be running something like the precision or the weighted stock, but on Rebirth, I want to be running folding. It makes it more aggressive. The recoil is still super easy, and you're gonna be able to maneuver around a little bit easier and a little bit more agile with this on there versus a heavier stock, which might hurt you in some like 30, maybe 40 meter fights. Then for the Armaguerra here, some slight updates that we talked about earlier on in the week with some of the mobility based attachments. I'm running recoil booster, the precision barrel, slate reflector, the skeletal stock for a great strafe speed. I've got the skeletal underbarrel on there as well for a better movement speed and a faster ADS. 9mm60, lengthened or subsonic or frangible, whichever of those you prefer. The taped grip for better mobility and also better sprint to fire. Hard scope for better control, and then quick to move around a little bit faster. Really fun. Like I said, very agile setup that has a very consistent TTK. Loadout 2, I mean, this one's fairly obvious. The NZ is still the best gun in the game. I'm pairing this with the Blixen with, again, a slightly different setup for Rebirth Islands. The NZ setup, though, is not changing regardless what map you play on. MX Silencer, Orb Weaver 360, 3 to 6 times scope, 2.5 times scope, whichever one you are the most comfortable with that you think you're going to land the most shots with. The EPAC stock for better control, hand stop, the Sakura 50, lengthened and taped here because the recoil is just so easy, you don't need polymer. This is going to make it feel a little bit more agile and fast. Frenzy on there, and then also fully loaded. You could try brace, but personally I don't really see a huge difference versus when I'm not using brace. It just seems like it's a very quiet perk, if that makes sense, so I'm not a huge fan of that. And then for the Blixen, this is a setup based around a combination of great mobility but also decent control. So I got the recoil booster. I'm using the F3 barrel here instead of the RMK. It's going to give you that better control, so in turn you're probably going to land a few more shots. It does hurt your movement. However, while we have the slate reflector on there, I've got remove stock, which gives you great movement speed. I also have the steady underbarrel on there for some better control, but it's not going to hurt anything there as far as cons go. I've got the 54 round mags, lengthened, the taped grip, which is going to give you great movement speed yet again. So between this and remove stock, you gain a lot of that movement back from using the larger barrel. Then I also got fleet and quick on there as well for better movement speed. So this thing flies. It also has great control, so you're going to fry with it. Super fun setup. Loadout 3, we got the bar, we got the Marco 5, probably my favorite SMG in the game right now. The thing is just so consistent, so fast, so fun to use. And the bar, 0 to 40 meters, has an incredible TTK, so obviously it's gonna be prime for Rebirth gameplay. The setup here, pretty standard. MX Silencer, we got the 30-inch barrel, the 3 to 6 times scope. The wire stock, just like over on the STG with the folding, just makes it a little bit more aggressive for some of those 0 to 40 meter fights. If you have this out, you don't have to worry about getting caught up against a sub. You can still have decent mobility and whatnot there. We got the hand stop, like I said, Clouser 40, lengthened in polymer, hard scope for better control, and fully loaded on there once more. Then for the Marco 5, same setup I've been running. Again, we can change something ever so slightly here to give it more of an edge on Rebirth versus Caldera. But for starters, recoil booster, The Bodhi 240 for that better fire rate, making it a little better for TTK up close. Slate Reflector, instead of the control stock here, I'd go for the FR actually. Give you a better movement speed, better ADS, just makes it more agile and more aggressive for Rebirth. I would also drop the hand stop in this case and actually throw on steady yet again, just to maintain good stats all around with no real cons like losing hip fire accuracy on the hand stop. I like the 64 round drum, subsonic on there, taped grip again for that better mobility, gung ho for that instant sprint to fire, and then also quick on there for that better mobility as well. Next up, we've got my one sort of sniper support and sniping loadout. I'm back to using the car. They ended up changing the flinch a little bit with season 4, which I think makes some of the aggressive snipers like the car or the Swiss a little more usable, a little bit more competitive. Obviously, the one-shot headshots are still pretty lacking, but for aggressive sniping, Rebirth is the place for that, obviously. And I just don't like sniping on such a close quarters map with something like an HDR or a ZRG, which is just slow and heavy. Not really a fan, right? So we're gonna go for the faster, more agile car despite the lack of one-shot headshots. Here we're going for monolithic 27.6 inch barrel tac laser sniper scope focus on there as well, so no surprises there, same setup as always. And then for the Cooper Carbine, this is the best sniper support gun in the game, right? It's got a great TTK up through about 35 meters or so. It fries, low recoil as well. This is a setup built for decent control but also great mobility. So we got MX silencer and the Cooper custom barrel on there for the sniper support aspects, good for close range but especially good for medium range as well. 2.5 times optic is perfect for close medium range fights. It's not too zoomed in for close range. 45 RS stock's gonna give us that better ADS speed, which is nice and ideal, a little bit aggressive there. I got the skeletal underbarrel for the better movement speed, 9mm 60 for the better fire rate and control, lengthened to help out with the velocity in some of those mid-range fights, taped for the better movement, tight grip for better control, and then fully loaded on there once more. Very balanced setup in my opinion, and fantastic for sniper support. And then lastly, I got sort of my experimental loadout. We got the Vargo, which is the best non-Vanguard rifle, then also the Sten, which is especially good in like solos with certain builds, but in general, it's sort of an underrated SMG meta right now. Incredible movement speed. The thing flies. Vargo setup, we all know this by now. Cruise suppressor, task force, Spetsnaz 60, and the 3 times optic. No changes there. For the Sten here, I'm primarily focused on strafing mobility. I want to be able to ADS and zoom around and throw enemies off, and they're not going to be able to track me with aim assist, with keyboard and mouse, does not matter. This thing's going to be able to outmaneuver enemies. So we got the recoil booster, we got the short barrel for the better ADS and better aim walking move speed. The velocity and damage range reductions here aren't really relevant. We're using this in 20-meter fights primarily. Slate Reflector, the folding stock for better aim walking movement speed, ADS, and sprint to fire yet again. Steady because we do lose some control. I want to maintain at least a decent control aspect there, so I got that on there. 9mm 50 just because I don't really trust the 36 round mags in trios and quads. If you're building this for solos though, go for the 36 round mag, absolutely. But for standard trios and quads, 50 I feel like is sort of that safety net, if you will. I got some Sonic on there, the leather grip for, again, better aim walking movement speed, acrobatic for better mobility, and then quick on there once again. Very fun and very unique setup that, like I said, it's just so fun to run around enemies while having your sights aimed down so you can land shots and sort of leave them wondering what the heck just happened in that gunfight, right? That being said, though, that is going to wrap things up for this one. Those are the top 5 best loadouts to be running on a Rebirth right now. That's going to wrap things up for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. So feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. But until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. And I will catch you guys later. Peace out.